When the human gets involved, that's where the errors truly come in, because putting a 22 tabbed Excel document of all your 401k and financial information up into ChatGPT is probably not a good thing.
Welcome back to the podcast. Today I'm joined by Christopher Carter, the founder of Approyo and Mugatu AI, a leading name in the SAP and enterprise transformation space. At RevGenAI, we build outbound and thought leadership podcast systems for B2B founders. And this show is where we're spotlighting growth-minded leaders who are driving innovation in their industries. Today, we'll explore how Christopher and his team are really creating impact, scaling growth, and shaping the future of SAP migrations, AI-assisted development, and operational efficiency. Christopher, it's great to have you.
Hey, thanks for being here. And please, my friends, call me Chris. We're now friends.
Sounds good, Chris. So can you just share with us a little bit of a background on Approyo and Mugatu AI and what you guys are really focused on?
You got it. So Approyo is the global partner for SAP in regards to providing licenses, migrations to S/4HANA cloud activities. And we work with companies around the globe to help them move and transition during the largest upgrade cycle in SAP's history. So we've been helping organizations with that. Then you've got Mugatu AI, which is my side project, that is an AI-based security tool that helps individuals and organizations stop human error from the AI activity. So based on the operating system upward, anybody or any type of corporate data that tries to leave via the chat GPTs or Geminis or Claudes, it stops it within 100 and some milliseconds. So the two work together hand in hand, because you don't want security leaks in SAP systems or in clouds, and you don't want humans giving up data or leaking that data as well.
Yeah, it makes total sense how they're working together. Um, you know, I'm curious, how are you really making Approyo and Mugatu stand out in today's SAP and enterprise landscape? Just because enterprise it's very competitive, it's very hard to reach buyers. What is making you guys stand out?
Yeah, that's a great question, because enterprise technology right now is everybody's talking about it. How do they get into it? How do they utilize it? Well, the benefit I have is SAP is the enterprise solution for organizations. Of the Fortune 500 companies, 198 of them run SAP software. All of the largest financial institutions in the world, 93.7% of every single financial transaction on this planet goes through an SAP environment. And so as part of that, my conversations with companies who are currently running SAP are very straightforward. You need to upgrade, you need to migrate, you need to make sure that these activities are being taken care of, and you move that forward. But then I bring along on the backside the management support and the security level from an AI perspective, because let's be honest, all these companies are starting to play with AI. They're starting to understand what AI is. And although SAP has AI built into it, you still have to make sure that humans don't screw things up. And let's be honest, when it comes to the infinity circle of AI and human activities, when you keep going through, because it's you as a human, then AI does some work, then you do some work, then AI. When the human gets involved, that's where the errors truly come in, because putting a 22 tabbed Excel document of all your 401k and financial information up into ChatGPT is probably not a good thing. And only a human being can do that. And I've seen the human being do that. So that's why I built Mugatu, was because I saw that failure. And now I've merged and supported them together, and it stays in the enterprise grade. Now, I've got individuals who use our Mugatu tools, our shields, one individual at a time. But it really, SAP's largest upgrade cycle, along with AI security, you bundle those together, and man, you've got a secured landscape and a secured capability of individual across your entire landscape.
Yeah, and I think it's really necessary right now because you have two camps. You have people who are jumping headfirst into AI without really taking accounting of the risks, and we see how that can lead to bad outcomes. Or you have companies that are moving very slowly and not adopting this new technology and missing out because they're so hesitant because of the compliance security risks. And so I think more and more platforms and services like yours will become, the necessary intermediate for this massive technology adoption. Now, when it comes to AI specifically, because we like to, be on the edge, on the latest and greatest, what specific trends or developments right now are really like are shaping how you're servicing your clients, for example, with AI assisted development or the SAP Rise governance, in general, just your outcomes that you're delivering.
Well, that's a great question because when you look at the ecosystem today and the AI activities that are out there today, companies are worried. They're worried about what their people are going to do, hence the reason we got to AI. Then you also worry about what data they're going to send out, how they're going to develop. What are they going to use it for? Is it going to be for developers? Is it going to be for my sales and marketing team? Is it going to be for a specific organizational group such as HR or finance? And you have to have the right tools in place in order to be successful and to get the ROI that all these companies are looking for. Well, our tool doesn't worry about that. We're agnostic. I don't care where you're putting your AI tools or what your AI tool is. I'm only cared about your security. But individuals that we talk to, and we talk about the management, we talk about the support, we talk about the long-term capabilities of AI and how it affects the entire organization. That's when we really get deep into conversations. And it's interesting because I was on a call very early this morning with a company in the UK, and we were going through an entire landscape of their organization. Now, mind you, they have AWS clouds, they have SAP, they've got all these tools wrapped around different parts of their business, and they're a financials firm. And so they have to be very, very cognizant of limitations that they have and what they have for structure and activities wrapped around it. And so one of my questions, we were listening to them and I going through with my team. And finally I just peeped up and I said, look, guys, this is all great. What is it you're trying to fix or what is it you want to address? And all of a sudden you saw faces looking at each other going, okay. And I said, well, hold on a second. If you don't get it yet, that's great. That's why we do these beautiful assessments. Let's talk about your financial business. Are you looking to it to make sure that your team is using it for dashboard capabilities or automation? Or are you going to start creating bots? Or are you going to start doing some things with some of the tools that you have in your organization? And we've worked with them many times in the past. And I know that they have a large scale organization with many, many third party applications. And some of those applications actually have AI built into it, but they're not utilizing them and they don't know how. So that's part of it as well, is helping them understand the tools they have so they don't have to go out and buy new tools, but they also have to be able to understand who can use those tools to benefit the organization. And that's where we start getting into some deeper discussions on. You've got this team over here that is using SAP. It's your SAP organization. That team must or should, I say must, but hey, they should be using the AI tools that are built in because the data is built into SAP and then that helps you leverage that application. Well, then there's other people who are doing technology activities. So they're using Claude or other things, but they haven't brought that into in-house yet. So it's kind of these pirates are out there inside the organization playing with stuff and they're not using the data that's in-house. They're doing some things outside and testing. And so I kept the conversation going and going. And all of a sudden we're 2.5 hours into it of an hour-long call. And we're starting to understand some of the things that they have. And it was interesting for me because the gentleman who was on the call, who was the CIO, And then they had the director of infrastructure, the director of the ERP, and there's another. So they didn't know what each of them had, and so they were so confused. It was crazy. I'm like, guys, I'm a partner and I work with you guys. I know what you've got. How do you not know this yourself? It's such a benefit to your organization to learn and to know each other. And so, yes, that really is part of the details, and organizations must use that as an analysis to really get into what they have, why they have it, how they have it, in order to be successful with the tools that they're going to either currently keep and have, or the ones that they need to procure for the future.
Yeah, that's a really interesting strategy because one of our clients as well is really focused on helping large enterprise companies take what they already have and share that intelligence so that more of what works in one function is being utilized across functions and data is being shared, which is becoming more and more possible now with AI to set together a cohesive operating system so that the company as a whole can just operate more intelligently. That's really interesting for operations sake and for increasing efficiency. But what I would actually really be curious about is how you're using AI uh, to increase demand generation, because this is fundamentally what we focus on, is lead generation. What do you see that is working best right now in terms of marketing and sales for the types of, high LTV, long sales cycle model enterprise sales that you focus on?
Yeah, that's a great question because our sales cycles are quite long as well. You get every once in a while, we get one that's a very quick turnaround time when it comes to a sales process. But we've got organizations that have got massive SAP environments. They go out for RFPs, they're doing a lot of activities. So I know that we do in house, we have a full SEO base and AEO base and all these retargeting and different things that go on and go on and go on. I'm like I made reference earlier, this is my 217th podcast in the last 2 years because I like helping people help to understand what they're using and the tools they're using. And hopefully they get some knowledge from us of what they can and can't do. And then you've got the activities that go on within SAP, and then from a US based, how we're marketing LinkedIn's and re advertising on LinkedIn's and the Facebooks and the Googles and all this. There's so many different ways of trying to get to people, getting out to the groups and getting out uh, podcasts as well as webinars. So you've got your hands full. You're at the forefront of that, and that's what companies are trying to figure out. How do they bring more people to them so they can see what they do, so it resonates with them to make some type of a buying decision and a faster buying decision? Because let's be honest, sales is not an inexpensive task, and the sales and marketing activities of any company is can be expensive, and you've got to make sure that you're doing the right things for your organization to lead them through quality conversations with quality people that are truly the ones that are going to make the buying decisions and move that process forward. If you can bring that up, and in my world, if you can bring that up even 30 days, man, that's a huge activity. So instead of a year-long process, if we could do 8 months, 6 months, it'd be wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a common challenge for most, B2B companies, especially those that sell into enterprise, is the long sales cycles. And oftentimes I see that the highest leverage move is just talking to the right person from the get-go, right? And having a way in to create the correct relationship to be able to move faster and increase leverage internally. Where do you really see um the bottleneck for Approyo and Mugatu in creating those higher leverage relationships that ultimately turn into deals 6 months, 8 months, 12 months down the line?
That's a great question because for us, we're very well known in the SAP ecosystem. I've been doing this since 1989, so people know who I am. They know the company and they know how to get there. But it is also we're changing. This ecosystem of SAP has gotten old very quickly. It's about 52.3 years of age is the average SAP worker. And so now it's the new batch of youngers, these 30-year-olds and 40-year-olds who may not know that Approyo has been around since the 2000s and that I've been doing this since the 1980s, and trying to get them to understand while they're ready to make a buying decision that they need to be having the conversation with us rather than somebody else knows or they've seen, or somebody's got better click-throughs on Google and better AdWords. They're willing to spend the $52 on AdWords where I'm not. So it's those types of activities that are out there that I guess I don't know if it causes heartburn, but it causes heartburn. Rather, I don't like the fact when a third party offshore company comes in and underbids everybody just because they got the pretty AdWords, and then they underbid everybody by 40% or 30%, because that's how companies fail in this ecosystem. And when you start doing that activity, that's just a recipe for disaster. So I'm always the guy that's got my heart on my sleeve and tells the truth. And if you don't like the truth at what it's going to be, well, then you're going to end up with that third party company, but you're going to end up calling me in the end.
Perfect response. I think that there's a saying that I think about when it comes to, how you shape your company, how you position yourself, that there's no benefit in being the second cheapest option on the market, right?
Amen.
And definitely, when faced with that decision, you knowing exactly all the expertise that you've carried and now are developing into this new age, new era, and shaping your services can help you, help your prospects avoid a costly mistake by going with the wrong option. And that's a really strong frame and position to hold.
Appreciate
Um,
it.
I like asking a question because it's a creative thought experiment. So if you had a magic wand, what's one thing that you'd like to change in your business right now to make your own growth easier?
Yes, I would like to have every SAP customer on the ecosystem in my funnel somewhere, somehow, some way. I don't care if they're in the top part of the funnel or if they're in the bottom part or mixed up in between. I'd like everybody in the SAP ecosystem, all 483,000 customers, to know about our organization and be in my funnel somewhere, somehow. How's that? That's pretty, if you either go big or go home.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's clear that you have immense industry expertise and you've been around, which not many people can say. And so, yeah, play to your strengths, and definitely, I think that that's a good vision, is to control the market and in your own in your own field. Last question before we wrap up here is, if you were to speak to somebody just starting their entrepreneurship journey, and they haven't gone through the decades of painful growth and lessons that you have, what would be some of your best advice
Oh,
to give them?
so if they haven't gone through all my pains and tribulations and um, late nights and systems getting hacked and jumping in and trying to help customers and those types of activities, I would tell them to study really hard about the new tools that are coming out, no matter if it's Azure, GCP, AWS for cloud, if it's AI tools for the tool sets, depending upon what your ecosystem is. If you are a coder, like myself, I'm an old coder monkey. So if I was a coder, I'd be in the Claudes and the Perplexities and stuff. If I was doing sales and marketing, excuse me, I would be definitely using my Google Geminis. Um, but I'm a huge fan. I would really tell people to look at the Google AI Studio Suite. I use uh, Notebook LM. I use Google Chrome. I use the Gemini, and then I use Anti Gravity, and then I use Canvas. And I use that AI Google Suite every single day. And it's my BFF. It's truly my work best friend. And I tell people, use those tools because you do not know 100% of the world up here. It knows it, but you, as a human being, need to be the one that changes the dials and helps it learn more. And then finally, I would say, when you're using AI, don't just listen to everything it says to you. Speak to it as if it's your best friend and you're having a bourbon or a coffee with each other, but also make sure you speak to it so it asks you questions to answer questions to help it get better. So those would be my touch points for anybody in the ecosystem that wants to grow right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's going to become so fundamental to be using these tools and definitely getting into that adoption sooner. And then also using AI in a way that there's just, it's almost like a paradigm shift of understanding that you have the most capable tool, and usually the limiting factor is yourself. So you need to teach yourself and get up to speed very quick if you want to be able to leverage it. And one thing that I know for certain is that it doesn't really replace your ability to have deep industry and experience in your industry. So yeah, somebody like yourself that's taking decades of knowledge and now transitioning it into the highest leverage tool that we've ever seen. Um, yeah, I'm excited to see what you guys develop. But
Me too.
Chris,
Me too.
thank you so much for joining the podcast. I'll leave your links down below.
Thank you. I
Any final
appreciate it.
words?
Yes. For anybody that listens to the podcast, please find me on LinkedIn. And when I'm in your neighborhood doing a speech and I do over 50 a year, plus I'm traveling for whatever, hit me up on LinkedIn and let's go have a coffee or a bourbon. I love both, and I will sit down and just I will talk your ear off about anything you want to talk about. So I look forward to meeting everybody from the podcast.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.